Hello, welcome to week 8 of the Weight Loss Accelerator. Hooray, you made it. It's the last day, it's the last week, it's the last video. And I just want to say congratulations that you have done. There's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of things to learn and address and deal with. I read a quote that just reminded me of the whole process of transformation that said, you can't change what you're not willing to confront. And that, these tools of tapping and really, combined with self-love to have that whole notion of compassionate discipline really is about confronting lovingly so that you can change and having a idea of what you want to change into. So it's really powerful stuff you've been learning. It's really transformative, and I'm excited to hear how it has gone for you and how you're going to use these tools moving forward. So yay, hooray. I have a handout just that has, just some ideas of what has changed in your life. How are you using these tools? Because I want you to really be aware of integrating them into your everyday life, because you won't have weekly homework. You won't have these suggestions. So it's how can you use these to really keep going and keep moving forward and improving your life. So it's important. And then I have the next section of the handout is just what else do you want to improve? What else do you want to use these tools to change? So that's exciting. You can go ahead and download that and just take some time to really think about both of those things, because I think it's important in moving forward and kind of acknowledging the changes that you've made. So that's the handout. And then I just had a story to tell that I thought would illustrate my point. So I'm going to do that. So I worked the other day at my job as a nurse. It was a very intense day. I had a patient who had just a long history of abuse, who was very, very sensitive and delicate. And I was trying to maneuver that all day. It was very challenging. Our family was challenging for different reasons. It was just a very intense day. There was staffing issues. I came in and I was like, oh good, we'll be fine. We have enough nurses. And then they took 2 down. So 2 of my fellow nurses were floating to another unit where they were dealing with very intense things. So I didn't have all the help that I would have liked. So it was hard. And then I had just some other stuff go on. We're about to go on strike at my job, or we just went on strike. We might do it again. Just a lot of stress there. So something was happening with management that was very stressful. And then something was happening. I'm taking a vacation. Something stressful was happening with having the staff that needed to be there so I could go. So all these things were stressful. And then I went out to my car at the end of my day, and I sometimes I sit in there and just take a minute to update on Facebook, make sure nothing, see what's happened in the world, check in with you guys, check in to see in this current political situation, anything I need to know, and just take a minute to decompress or distract myself. So I did that. I read a few articles, and then like 15 minutes had gone by, and I started driving home. And then I realized I was going to do an errand. So anyway, it's a long setup, but just that I had a lot of reasons to be stressed out. And I was driving along and I thought, oh my God, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. And the first thing I wanted to do, and I finished the whole 30, so I'm introducing things back in. And the first thing I thought is, I need some chocolate. I need some chocolate. And I know enough now to know that not to trust that, but it was so interesting what an incredibly intense physical need it was. It was right in my chest, and it was a feeling that and even a belief that the sadness I had would be treated by, healed by, soothed by my eating chocolate. And I was going to the grocery store anyway to get a propane tank, so I was like, I can get chocolate. It was so interesting to see the mind and how it worked, and how if I hadn't done all this work and didn't have all these tools and didn't have 10 minutes between me and the store, I might have thought that was a good idea, to buy chocolate. And then, who knows? And again, it's not the end of the world to eat chocolate, but to be suspicious when it seems like it is going to soothe the hole in your heart, because that is a sign for you to stop and use your tools. So what I did, out of habit, because these are ingrained after me using them for a while, is I used the pendulum method, and I said, what are you upset about? Because often it's not the thing that you think it is, or that's what I discovered. So that's what I'm wanting to share with you, is that I thought, was it dealing with that really hard patient all day and just feeling so sad for her, and also hard for me because I was trying so hard to connect and there was challenges, so was it that? And I knew it was going to be a yes, because what else would it be? And I got a strong no, and I thought, really? So I asked again, like, really, was it dealing with her family? And I got another no. And I still was feeling so sad that I kind of didn't even want to deal with it. But anyway, I was like, okay, fine. Is it because of all those issues with management and my vacation and all that stress? No. So I was like, funny. So I went through all the things that I thought it could be, and expanded a little bit about stuff that might be going on. And then I paused for a minute, and then I was like, was it what I just read? Because in my pause in my car, I had read 2 articles. I forget one of them. I mean, one was very disturbing politically. So I thought maybe it was that. So I said, was it that? And I got another no. And then I said, was it that? And it was an article I had read about this wonderful, amazing Buddhist teacher who I hadn't heard of before, but who had died of a drug overdose. And it was his family and friends kind of explaining how that had happened. And I guess it had broken my heart. Like, it had made me so sad for many reasons. I have some friends who have loved ones who have recently killed themselves, and the horror that is, and the tragedy, and just that, all of those feelings that are terrible. But I think there was some component of the fact that even this Buddhist teacher, who seemed to have this beautiful, perfect life and had all the tools of Buddhism and of mindfulness, and oh my God, even he could not tackle, challenge, persevere over his bipolar and his disease. So he died of a drug overdose, trying to just soothe his mind that was in mania, and he couldn't stop. So that surprised me, that it had struck me so hard, that it made me so sad. And but that was, I was like, it's almost like you're going and when you're trying to weed your garden, and you just are picking up the obvious weeds, and then you see there's this like bittersweet in there, or there's something that's really growing, and you have to dig all the way to the root. So I dug down to the root and found that that's what I was upset about. So I was using the pendulum method. I was using the stopping for a moment and thinking, in it, when I get agitated, I can use the, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, just use those as I was trying to find what the sadness was. So I was confronting it, instead of succumbing to it and just rolling on, which of course that's a choice sometimes, because it's hard. I needed the time, I needed the quiet, I needed to be alone, which I was in this drive. And then I tapped, I just tapped on, and I didn't know that the deep sadness was just the futility of it all. You have all these tools, you do all these things, you're doing your best, and just people drop by the wayside. That life is hard for all of us, and that there are challenges that even all of the hard work in the world can't fix. Whatever. I don't mean to be getting depressing, because for me it was just the tapping until I came to a place of peace. Just that where I could feel sad. I cried a bit. So I had this whole process, and that is what we're having to do. Like, it's kind of involved. It might sound kind of challenging. I'm just trying to show you how you can use these tools in your daily life so that you don't go buy the chocolate cake. Because truthfully, buying the chocolate cake is not the end of the world. It is just the repeated end result of ignoring the pain and the hole in your heart that ends up making you unhealthy. So what we're doing is we're confronting, what is that? What is that keeps me from eating well? What is it that makes me sit on the couch and not exercise? What is it that makes me buy foods that make me feel bad? And the goal is to be as free as you can. The goal is to make choices that make you feel good and you can move forward. And the ultimate goal is to feel amazing in who you are. So that's these tools. So I did my tapping, I did some visualization, just of, after I went to the grocery store and came out when I was feeling better. I was like, I'd kind of moved through and I hadn't bought the chocolate, and if I had, I would have taken a moment to really savor it, that also would be okay. But just where I was at, I didn't feel like I needed it anymore, which is a miracle and a victory in itself. And then I just took some time to visualize and appreciate, actually just be grateful for my body, for my life, for the fact that I am alive, and that I can help people while I'm alive. Whatever it is that resonates for you as a kind of soothing reminder that to be grateful in this moment. So all of this is just on the way home. And I feel like I had integrated another tool in that I wanted to. Oh yeah, that was it, is that I went through Dunkin' Donuts, on this way, because I was thirsty because I hadn't drank all day because I'd been running around. And I got a peppermint and chamomile tea. You can get a peppermint chamomile tea, no sweetener. So good. The little plants are in the bag. You can see the chamomile flowers. It's so beautiful. And so that was a bit of aromatherapy. It really was, like, the peppermint was really strong. And it is true that when you make a good choice, that was probably why I didn't need the chocolate, is I made a good choice. You feel propelled by that. You feel motivated. You feel like, oh, I can do this. I make good choices. So by the time I got to the grocery store, I didn't need to make choices that would make me feel bad. So I just wanted to give you that whole story of how I use these tools and how also you can use them. You can integrate them into your life however works. Having the aromatherapy in the car can be really helpful. And I would say too, starting the day with a 5-minute metta loving kindness meditation and a bit of aromatherapy really can just help you to open your heart, but also give yourself almost a protection from the world around you, to remind you to center yourself, as opposed to if you start the day kind of running around frantic. So that is just some input into how to use these tools in daily life. Something else I do if I have a few minutes and I'm feeling sad about something is just writing, because sometimes, again, you're trying, your conscious mind, your ego, your protective self is trying to just keep you moving and not have you go and find these nuggets of information. So you have to kind of counter that with something that engages the body. So the pendulum method, the writing, things that allow you to engage with your body are incredible tools for clearing this stuff. So that was that example for you. I hope that's helpful. I'd love to hear how you're using these tools in your life. And then the next thing, I realized in closing the program out that really, I want you to lose weight if that's what you want to do. I want you to feel better. I want you to ease yourself from that restriction and really prison of food addictions. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel happy in your body and really appreciate it and love it. And really, the revolutionary thing that I want for you in using these tools is for you to fall madly in love with yourself. Like, for you to really get that you are a gorgeous and incredible being. No matter what you look like, no matter if, oh, I fell off the Whole30 on day 2, like, no matter what is happening, that using the self-love techniques and the loving kindness meditation and being outside in nature, these tools can really transform it so that you really deeply love yourself. And then it makes it so much easier for all those other things to happen, for the weight loss to happen, for the eating well to happen, because you're protecting yourself. So whatever you feel is inhibiting you from that, if anything is inhibiting you from that, I would say focus on that, because the profound marvelousness of falling in love with yourself is such a relief, and it allows you to move forward in your life in such a powerful way because you trust yourself more. You're not sabotaging yourself. And my example of this, I've been doing this for a while, and I feel like I have a lot of love for my body, but I stood up, I was wearing a bathing suit, and I had that, there's a little place that when you're older, or maybe you've lost some weight, or maybe, I don't know, that I can't show you, but with the arm kind of puckers here, when you push it against your body, you see that there's there's skin that's kind of rippled, and it's new to me. I know, maybe because with the weight loss and I don't know, I hadn't seen it before, and I thought, oh my God, like, that's a new thing. Like, it almost looks a little like cellulite in your arm. It's this little flabby bit. And I thought, that's a new thing. And I had this immediate response of horror, of like, oh no, I've got a new thing. And then immediately it went into like, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then I thought, holy crap, this shit works, because I just decided that thing was beautiful. And it is. And so then I didn't have to worry about how I held my arm or what it meant or anything, because it's beautiful the way it is. I wouldn't have it if it wasn't, because I and you are a beautiful being. And whether or not that aligns with what's in magazines, completely irrelevant. So And then I went to a pool party with someone who said, oh no, it's a photograph. We have to hold our arms so we don't have and I guess there's a word for it. I don't know what it is. She forgot the word for it too, but I thought how funny that we even made a word for that little area there, and how funny that we would let that bother us while we're here on this planet doing whatever work we're meant to be doing. So just another little story and a reminder that regardless of what is happening, you can use these tools that you've learned to fall madly in love with yourself and your body. So as you age, I mean, we're all going to age. So no matter what, it's, you know, and we're all human. So no one is ever going to have even if we lose the weight and we get fit and all of that, it won't be perfect. So to love that, even though it might not be on the cover of a magazine, who cares? That is not what we're trying to do, which I know that we know, but it was a wonderful reminder to me of how using these tools can really go so deep that you undercut all of that superficial, societally imposed ideas of what we're supposed to look like, and that is incredibly freeing and allows you to be a happier, more whole person. Hooray! So do that. Allow yourself to do that. And I look forward to hearing a response to this, or how do you feel about that, or how this is going for you. I am posting along with this a video of Ashley Graham, who's a plus size model, who has just a very beautiful short speech that really struck me, you know, to be right in line with this idea. And yeah, so know that this work is important, and know that these tools you have are profoundly powerful, and what a gift that you can use them as you move forward in your life, in your beautiful life. All right, much love to you. Thank you so much. Keep in touch. If you want to check in about one-on-one coaching, I'm available for that. If you want, you know, we'll have our Zoom call on Friday. We can talk then. But again, thank you so much. Lots of love to you. I will see you on the Facebook page and the Zoom call and emails. But again, if you want to keep in touch or check in with me, always feel free. All right, lots of love. See you soon. Bye. Mwah.